talking with people about how to have a great retirement. This is the Rock Your Retirement Show. We don't talk about money, but we talk about almost everything else you need to rock your retirement. Now, here's your host, Kathy Klein.
Welcome back to the Rock Your Retirement Show. I am so happy and so excited because Barbara is back with us today, and we are going to be talking about this long-awaited trip. First COVID, then life. Now we're getting ready to go. So tell me what's going on, Barbara.
Oh, I'm so excited, Kathy. Well, if you don't go back to 1999 or 2020 to hear what my plans were. And that was kind of a sad time during the pandemic. So I'm not encouraging you to go back. But in 2011, I went with some girlfriends to Costa Rica. It was the season of my life where I was working full time. I was planning for retirement, but I wasn't yet retired. And every year we would go to a different place, whether it was Cancun or Belize or Cabo. But this particular year we went to Costa Rica, and it was amazing. It was a jungle. It was gorgeous. There were animals. And at that time, I didn't have kids and grandkids and in-laws. And so I remember at the time thinking, oh my gosh, this is a place for young children. And if I'm ever blessed with grandchildren, this is where I'd want to bring them when they're the right age. And so I had that little dream stored away, and I started talking about it to my friends and family to the point where when I was getting ready to retire, I saved my sick leave and my vacation. And for some of you that have the privilege of working for an organization, that if you don't take all your sick leave and you don't take all your vacation, that at the moment of retirement, they compensate you with the cash. In some cases, you can put it in your 401k, you can put it in a savings account, or maybe it can be added to your retirement. And I chose kind of all of the above, but a portion of it, I said, this is earmarked for taking the family to Costa Rica. So everyone knew about that for years in advance. The kids knew it when they were little. And so we planned this epic trip, and we had it booked and ready to go. And if you listen back to the old programs, the pandemic just kind of took it out. And that was just so disappointing. We rebooked it for the following year. Except the pandemic was still raging 2 years after we had planned on this trip. And so at that point, I gave up. I said, you know what? It's just not meant to be. I'm done. The money's sitting here. I'm just not going to worry about it. But bless my daughter and my daughter-in-law who said, nope, we got to give Nana her dream. But I'm looking back now and I'm realizing when we were going to go, the world was different. The world has changed now. The kids hadn't grown up. They were still little kids, and I didn't have cancer. And so here we are on the cusp of leaving in just 4 days. And I'm realizing that in a way, it could be almost an imposition on the kids. They're all very, very busy in their careers. So for them to leave and take a week is a big deal, but they're doing it for me. They're excited. And then my grandkids, when I was going to take them, they were little kids. They're 11, 10, and 8.
Oh, this is way better now.
Well,
way better.
Yes and no. It's absolutely better for them to travel that far, to go from, the Portland area to Costa Rica. It's a full 12, 15-hour day to get there, 2 flights and everything. So that's way better. But they're busier in school. They're busier in sports. But I think that if I waited any longer, I would really miss the opportunity because
Oh,
in another year,
but
they'll be teenagers.
they're going to remember this trip, though.
Absolutely. And I think because we've been talking about it for so long, I bought them little kids' books about monkeys and sloths and everything. And so we've been talking about this for a really, really, really long time. But I do realize that I feel like I'm just adding one more thing to their plate. And so I'm really hoping, because it is a big responsibility when you have a dream and you want to do something and you drag 9 other people along with you to do it. And yet, I'm at the point where now my goal is to forget about the past and the disappointment of the pandemic, to not think about the future for whatever's going to happen with my health, just to have no expectations, just leave it at the door and go and just be and enjoy and have fun with them. One of the things I wanted to talk about, though, was planning a trip for your grandchildren. I highly recommend it, but to make sure that if it's your trip, to make sure everybody gets some input. So I wanted to share a few tips and tricks of things that I did. One, instead of having to pack and unpack and repack, I booked a home with 3 big bedrooms where that's our home base. So even though we could have toured around and stayed 2 or 3 days here, 2 or 3 days there, that's a lot on kids. I just don't think it's fair. So I booked a really, really nice, it's a villa, and it sounds dreamy. It's like a big tree house on the side of a mountain. The other thing I did is I took a poll of every single person and said, what is it that you'd be disappointed if we didn't do?
Oh, that's so perfect. Because
Right?
now you're taking it from your trip and you're turning it into our trip.
Exactly. What it would be disappointing if you didn't do. And there were lots and lots of choices on activities. And the kids were right in on it. Like they wanted to see the jungle animals in the national park and they wanted to see sloths. And little Carter, who's now 8, but from the time he's been 5, has wanted to see a Costa Rican green frog. Now, how he knows about this, I don't know. But we're going to go on a night walk, just me and the grandkids. Maybe Mike will come along with me, I think. They provide you with flashlights and a guide. And they warned me that, yes, you'll see green frogs and snakes and bats and all kinds of things. So I don't know how that's going to go, but that's kind of our first night there. They're going to get that exposure. And it includes an authentic Costa Rican meal. I'm taking the kids, the grandkids, their parents, I'm having them go to a really fancy restaurant and kind of have a night out, right? It's their vacation too. But then everybody gave input and they decided that they wanted to do a waterfall tour where we'll take a Jeep up into the mountains and tour 3 waterfalls. The last one has a natural water slide, right, in the rocks, the water coming down for the kids, and we can swim in the pool. So that's a full day. On another day, my son, who I never thought he even cared about this trip, but apparently he's been telling people, and he goes, Mom, do you know that there's high classes of whitewater river rafting there? I said, well, yeah. Well, we got to do that. I'm thinking, uh-oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but we are. Hopefully all the kids will stay in the boat and we'll be safe, but we're going to do a whitewater river rafting trip one day. And then of all the things, my daughters wanted to do something called canyoning. Now, this just sounds like a really bad idea, where you're harnessed up and you rappel down a canyon over water. You know, you're in a waterfall.
Are you going to, or?
Here's what happened. When I talked to my guy at the resort, he said, oh, yeah, you could do it too. Well, it's not just doing that. You don't have to do that, but there are ropes courses, something called a monkey drop, a zip line. And so out of the blue, my husband goes, well, I want a zip line. And I said, what? I said, are you kidding? And he goes, well, heck yeah. I'm 66 years old. When am I going to get another chance to zip line in the Costa Rican jungle? It's my last chance because I'm probably not going back there again. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? In between all of those things, we'll have days at the beach and time. But then my husband goes, well, why don't you just hire a chef? And I said, seriously? And he goes, well, why not? Not for every night, but we did. I found someone who will come and for not that much more money than a restaurant would come with a chef and a waiter. And they charge
and
you
a waiter.
waiter.
And are they going to do the dishes too?
I think they do. You pre-choose off of a menu what you want, and they have a flat fee, and then they go do the shopping. They bring it to your kitchen where you're staying there, and they prepare the meal, and they have like a menu, like steak and surf and turf and like everything. So I asked the guy, I said, is it okay if the kids watch? He goes, well, that's all part of it. So they'll be sitting there at the bar hearing and speaking with this chef. And I thought, okay, that's a pretty unique experience. Again, not something I would ever, normally do. And then the last one was my daughter-in-law said, Nana, we haven't had family photos for 3 years. I think we need to get our pictures taken either in the jungle, in the beach, or both at sunset. And so I went on the journey and we found a lovely man who's a wildlife, nature, bird photographer that also does photos. On a Monday night, we're going to get dressed up in anniversary clothes and celebrate our anniversary and go have pictures at sunset.
Oh, that sounds amazing. It really does. How did you find all these? Did you go on Viator or something, or how did you find all these places?
Where we're staying is very, very nice. I mean, very nice. And they have all these different choices of excursions. So it was the easiest thing I've ever done. I talked to Orlando and Marlon and Jovan.
Like a concierge. So you
they
just
are, and you just tell them, but they know the best days to go. They know how to get the tickets, because some of these tickets you have to get weeks or months in advance. And we've been planning this for 3 years. So it may not all come out the way we hoped, but I'm to the point now, it's what it is. Get on the plane. Hopefully we'll get there, and then just be there with the kids and enjoy it. Again, this cancer diagnosis has really kind of brought to that forefront the how do I want my kids and grandkids to remember me? I know it's not. I know I'm going to be fine. I have a great prognosis. But if it were the last trip, how would I want to experience that and do it? And so my tips for people is, if you have the resources, the time and effort, and it doesn't have to be something as extravagant as this, but if you can take your kids or grandkids on a vacation or a trip, plan it so everyone gets input, let everyone have a choice, make sure that there's something for everybody, and then just be. Don't try to overmanage it, although I've got it pretty well planned. And so when I get back, I think we'll do another part to this. This will be the pre-trip. I'll fill everybody in and probably post some pictures on Facebook for how did it go? How did my best laid plans end up?
I hope it goes well, because this has been 3 years in the making, and probably more than 3 years, because you were planning the original trip.
Yeah.
You don't seem like you would have just planned that a week before you were supposed to go. So
no, that's true.
This is a long time coming. I'm so glad that you're finally going to be able to go on this Costa Rica trip. I think I've told you that I've been to Costa Rica. We were just walking through the forest or the jungle, and there was a baby sloth right there, and we got to look at it it was within touching distance. It was very, very close.
Wow.
There was the mom and there was the baby, and it was really fun. We didn't do a whole planned trip like you, though. What we did was we had some Marriott points expiring. Anyway, we had something expire. It might have been an airline. I don't think Marriott points expire. And I said to Les, hey, let's go somewhere. He's like, where do you want to go? I said, I don't know. And we just kind of looked at the map. Said, how about Costa Rica? So we took points for the airline and points for the hotel, and we got to go for free.
That's amazing, because this is not free.
No, I know. So here's the thing. We could have probably made it more luxurious than we did. We stayed in, is it San Jose?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We stayed right there in San Jose. We didn't go anywhere exciting, but we would take day trips.
I was going to say, oh my gosh, because San Jose is a gritty.
It's a big city.
Capital city.
Yeah.
And there's a whole coastline on the West Coast and the East Coast. It's all beaches. So I'm going.
Was just saying, I didn't know anything about Costa Rica. So I just said, okay, we'll just stay at the Marriott, wherever it was. I don't think we rented a car or anything.
Oh my gosh. So no volcanoes, no beaches, no.
We went to the beach and we went to the jungle. I mean, remember, I saw the sloth and we had monkeys. We were told not to leave anything on the beach because the monkeys will take it.
Yep.
So yes, we did go day trips.
Okay.
We went day tripping, but I could have planned it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I could have stayed on the beach or something. But yeah, and I'll probably go back to Costa Rica because it's gorgeous and the different colored birds, and it's just a beautiful place.
And the people are so kind and friendly and wonderful. And they have this saying, pura vida, pure life. And they really embrace life, embrace families and children. And so I'm excited for my grandkids who have primarily been to Mexico and Hawaii to experience just a little bit of a different culture. I did tell my son and daughter-in-law to bring their own bottles of hot sauce because the Costa Rican food is not spicy. It's rice and beans and chicken and plantains and no spice. I said, you guys, it's not Mexico. So bring your own Tex-Mex sauce if you need to smother everything, which they do. So I think that's going to be one consideration.
We actually wound up finding the food was expensive where we were. Mm-hmm. And we wound up finding a local, I don't know, it had like one table. It was really a hole in the wall that only local people ate at. I mean, you did not see a tourist in there at all. The food was delicious and it was really inexpensive. Like we would eat lunch for like $3 each or something. Whereas if we went to the restaurants that they wanted you to go to, it was going to be like $50 for lunch. Yeah. And so I like finding local places where the locals eat so that I can get a feel for what it's like to be in to live there. Not everybody likes to do that. Some people are afraid to eat local cuisine, but I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I mean, I have even eaten. My husband he would run from me when I would do this, but I've eaten so many, I don't eat pork, but I've eaten chicken feet. I've eaten all kinds of weird things that people can't think of eating. It's nice to experience things, I think.
I'll be happy to give a report next time we get together and
let us know how your husband did on the plane because he's like 8 feet tall. Yeah. And I'm sure you got him. Are you flying everybody first class or just you and him?
No. I paid for their airfare. My son-in-law, who's 6'10", sprung for his own first class all the way down and all the way back. And he was very excited about that. But everyone else fits okay. But I did get my husband extra leg room.
Oh, you didn't get him first class?
No, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on that. I am cheap when it comes to
and probably don't collect points where you could upgrade him. Right?
No,
you're not a point collector.
No. So he does have extra leg room on the leg from LA to San Jose and back. Not his first choice. I'm very excited to let them experience it and see how it goes.
Yes. I know you're all flying together on the same planes.
Yes, I know. And that was something my husband said the other day. I said, don't say stuff like that. He said, well, if the plane goes down, the entire Mock family will die out in that thing. And I'm like, why would you say that? After all the Alaska Airlines things, because we're on Alaska Airlines.
Right.
I'm out of Portland. So anyway. It's,
we're gonna find out how that trip went.
Yeah.
In next month's show, right? You're going to come and tell us how it went. And hopefully I'm going to say a prayer that it won't be delayed again for whatever reason. You will get...
We're not going to cancel, rebook, and reschedule. It's either we do it or it's done and we're done. So...
You'll have a big party at your house if you can't go to Costa Rica.
Exactly.
So anyway, thanks so much for giving us this update, and we'll see you next month on the Rock Your Retirement Show to hear how that trip went. So thanks again. And for the listener, we'll see you next time on the Rock Your Retirement Show. Bye.
Bye.